Hey, my people, my people, my people. Hope you guys are doing good, guys. Today I just want a quick video uh, about the World Food Program Nobel Prize. I was not even preparing to go live today to talk about this, but I feel like it's very important to mention a few things. And today, as you guys watch the news, World Food Program has won the Peace Nobel Prize, and which is exciting for a lot of people, celebration. And I know some of you guys are also excited, right? But I wanted just to mention a few things because I really don't think the World Food Program deserve the Nobel Peace Prize for certain reasons that I want to mention here today. I know some of you guys will say agree or disagree, but it's okay. I want to people see things differently. That's the only things. And I'm gonna talk about this in English because I feel like a lot of people should hear this, and a lot of people should know about this because this is not only about the community, but this is about the world, and this is about the humanitarian world. This is about everything we see there. When we think about these big organizations like World Food Program, we always think about the problem solvers. We always think about all those things. And I'm gonna be talking more straight to the African perspective and its impact in Africa. And for people that are watching us, I don't want you guys to think of like, some people might ask like, where did you get those research? How did you know about that? I mean, we've seen their work, we've seen reports, we've seen all these things. I'm not saying no. Yes, there's a really good report on a World Food Program. But I mean, what is impact in Africa, and how does it work, and how people? And for me, when I look at a lot of things, I feel like organizations like World Food Program do not deserve to win the Nobel Peace Prize, and especially in a crisis and things that are happening in Africa, because that's where most of the operations are. And when you look at Yemen and all those things, and that's for many years. And before we continue, so that you can understand what we're talking about here, I'm just gonna read for you the mission of World Food Program, and then I'm gonna go from there. So when we talk about World Food Program, if you do not know, it's a United Nations food program, which is mission is to end global hunger. First of all, is to end global hunger. That's one, and also provide food assistance as the onset emergencies and promote economic and social development. To promote economic and social development. The World Food Program was founded in 1963, in 1963. So if we're talking about hunger eradication, if we're talking about promotion of healthy food, if we're talking about all this, World Food Program comes in. And first of all, I want to just say they've done work. They have done amazing work into emergency situation. They've done amazing work into responding to emergency situation around the world, in Syria, in Yemen, in Sudan, in Somalia, in many places around the world we cannot count. And that's really a tremendous work that they've been doing over the years, which is really great. And when it comes to emergency response, I feel like they've done a really wonderful work. And that's not what I'm talking about, which can be a bigger part of what they do. However, I want to talk about the slogan. I want to talk about the rhetoric. I want to talk about, the new slogan and slogans that a lot of organizations are talking about today, which is sustainable development goals. And when we talk about sustainability, we are not talking about something right now. We're talking about something long term. We're talking about something that lasts for long. We're talking about something that has a longer impact in lives of people. And we haven't seen that in the world humanitarian work in general. We haven't seen that in World Food Program as well. So there's a lot of things that can be said into the Nobel Prize. There's a lot of criteria. I'm not going to discredit that. But when I focus on Africa, I want to just say how much I think World Food Program has failed into its work. And I'm going to mention that. I'm going to say where, why and how I base my opinion from, okay? And I know a lot of people, as I said, would be like, why? You know, World Humanitarian Program, they helped me, they did this, they all that, When you talk about sustainable program, we're talking about long term. There's this saying in Africa, and I think it's a lot of places, right? Do not give me fish every day, but teach me how to fish. And I think when I look at that saying, that summarizes the idea of sustainability. And I think a lot of international organizations have failed into long-term sustainability. And that's why we see the same thing happening over and over and over. Hunger. We keep seeing all this access to clean water. We keep seeing all these humanitarian organizations in Africa as if it's the new thing, you know. I know there's a lot of things implicated. There's a lot of implications in a lot of things. However, we need to be clear when it comes to sustainable project or sustainable programs. And I feel like, you know, World Food Program hasn't really got there for all its many years of operations. So let's break it down for a minute, okay? When you're saying you are trying to help people in emergency situation, fine. People are displaced, people are hungry. You want to give them a bottle of porridge. You want to give them all these things. That's fine. It's really good to do. The question is, after that, what are you doing to those people after giving them porridge? And how much are you giving them? And for how long are you giving them, you know, those the food you're giving to them, right? What a mechanism? What are some of the things that you're doing to making sure that those people keep having food every day for years? Let's look at refugees, for instance. You know, people have been displaced and become refugees for many years. I've known people that have been refugees for 10, 15, goes up to 20 years. And we are talking about World Food Program that has been, you know, catering for those people in collaboration with those states, with those countries, by giving them food, which is great. However, how long are you gonna keep giving people food every single day, yet you know exactly, what is the most important sustainable measure you can give to those people, but you ignore it. And that's exactly what I'm talking about today. You cannot just keep giving people food. And maybe before we get there, I want to ask, and a lot of people know, do you even know where that food comes from? Is it a quality food? I'm asking you. I know some people have been recipients to those organizations. Do you know where that food comes from, the World Food Program? Do you know which countries provide that food? Is that food really healthy? No, the answer is no. A lot of people that receive a World Food Program in Africa specifically, I'm gonna be really straight. That food is not even good. A few years ago in Uganda, for instance, there's been a cases where there was a distribution of food in northern part of Uganda and people got sick. And I think somebody even died just because of the food. You know why? Because the food they distribute to people is not healthy. The food they distribute to people is not good. The food they distribute to people is not even enough, right? So why do you keep telling yourself you're doing a good job, yet you're not responding to the problems of the people? You know, when you look at the amount of money that those organizations spend, it's crazy. But who does that benefit, honestly? It benefits the people that are working there. Research how much money the CEO of World Food Program gets paid. Research how much money those experts, so-called experts in Africa of World Food Program gets paid. When you give somebody 5 kilos of messed up beans or grains, and you pay somebody thousands of dollars that is distributing the person, who is helping who? You know, the people in emergency situation are helping those working with the World Food Program and related organizations because they do not help the people, but they help themselves because they become rich from the work they do, but they do not provide the support they need to be able to give to people. So we need to be talking about reality. You know, and I'm not talking about reports that are written. I'm not talking about, research that is done with people, because a lot of people do research. A lot of people write reports on their own interest, because of what they want people to read, because of what they want people to know. And I'm talking about the things you see on TV, on TV, when those organizations asking you to donate money, or of those kids, with fleas around their head, with those kids that are naked, really like looking as if they want to die just because they want to get donation from you. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the real situations that are happening on ground. And I know a lot of you guys that are watching me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A lot of you people that have been in emergency situation, you know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to World Food Program. And for you people who haven't been there, who haven't experienced this, don't be fooled by social media and what you read on report. Don't be fooled on those ads on TV. Don't be fooled. And if you want to know, you just go on ground, ask people, but also just see things for yourself. That's what I'm saying. I don't think organizations like World Food Program deserve the Nobel Prize. Even though everybody will be just like, hey, of course, families and people that benefit from the work of World Food Program, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's fine. People that work there, they make money out of it, they'll be like, yeah. But the thing is, like, how about the people that suffers every day? How about the people that need like a sustainable program so that they can be healthy and they can have food every day on their table? And the question is, I know a lot of people will say like, oh, okay, so what's the solution? What should they have done? They've done a lot. They've done a lot, some people call them hero, all these things. I understand that. And you have a reason for one way or another to say that, However, World Food Program should implement sustainable programs that will help people in a refugee camps, in a displaced places that have been there for many years, programs that will help them to be able to have food every day without relying on the food that they give them that is not enough. That's by doing what? That's by helping them planting or invest in commercial agriculture that can help those people in emergency situation to be able to grow their own food so that they can eat healthy food, they can sell food, make money, and be able to sustain their families. These are like common sense principles that a lot of big organizations don't even understand when it comes to sustainability. People keep preaching and talking about sustainability. We keep talking about, sustainable development goals. I always keep talking about slogans always change. Yesterday was Millennium Development Goals. Today Sustainable Development Goals. And tomorrow is going to be something. But there is no really solution into everything that is happening in humanitarian organization. I've been there. I've been in the both side of the spectrum. And I'm not talking about research because a lot of people will question about like, Cedric, how do you base on things you're talking about? I'm based on things I'm talking about the reality on ground. And things like this need to be spoken. I know a lot of people will just be like, but that's the reality. The Nobel Prize been given to World Food Program. For Americans that are here, they have no clue about what's happening overseas. They have no clue about what's happening outside there because they see about things on ads on TV. They rely on what they see and what they've been told, but you really don't know what's happening. World Food Programs and other many organizations, international organizations, are the source of poverty and the non-development in African and sub-Saharan Africa. They are the source of it. Because they know exactly what needs to be done, but they do not do it. Why? Because it's a circle. It is a circle of the same system of new colonization, of the same system of oppression, of the same system of making some specific individuals to be more richer in the course of those poor people. And when you look at organizations like World Food Program, that's exactly what they do. You can now spend billions of dollars buying spoiled maize or spoiled flowers, spoiled from, Iraq or Japan or America or Canada, just because these are the food that people cannot eat anymore. And then you take it to poor people and you're talking about, yes, we are eradicating poverty. We are eradicating poverty. We are helping people in the third world. That's not how that works. And the World Food Programs and all those people you hear in the media that are clapping today, they know exactly what needs to be done, but they do not do it. That's why at this point, I hate all the humanitarian organizations right now. You know why? Because they do not do what they're supposed to be doing and they're lying to people every single day. Let's look at facts, right? Why would you want to give somebody food and you know you can invest in agriculture? Let's talk about example Uganda, right? Or Kenya, or Kakuma refugee camp, for instance. Or Uganda, they have like more than 6 settlements or refugee settlements or refugee camps, the way people say it. And those people have been living there for more than 15 and 20 years. And those lands, they live in isolated areas and lands that are so productive that they can be able to harvest, to grow a lot of things. What does it take to invest in a macro or commercial agriculture to help those people? What does it take to invest in agriculture in places whereby there is hunger? What does it take to invest in agriculture? It doesn't cost anything. The millions of dollars that people are spending on experts, on logistics, on stupid things, on paying their CEO millions of dollars can be used to invest in agriculture in land. The land can even be given free for them by working with states, with governments, with countries, where they operate, right? Manpower, those people that are trying to help, they can help themselves by working. They can buy machinery, and the food that is there can be sold to the locals, can be sold to other people, and they can help the people that are there. Sustainable development is not about what we see and what we talk about. We preach every day on media, but we're talking about real things that can be done, and a lot of people can do that. A lot of people know that, but they do not do it. They do not do it. So when we look at organizations like World Food Programs and having a Nobel Prize today because of their work in humanitarian world, in emergency world, that's okay. But what's the sustainable part of it? What's the sustainability part of World Humanitarian Organization? No, there is none. Go to Africa today. The same places, the same countries that they've been eradicating hunger, the same places that they were talking about ending poverty, those places still having poverty for years and years. And if I ask you, do you know how much money, how much millions of dollars has been spent to those specific places? You can't even answer that question. So let's be clear here. When we talk about organizations that are making impact. In one side, emergency situation, when somebody is displaced, there is a war, there is a bombings today, and you bring emergency food, that's fine. I'll give them credit for that. That's really okay. But when it comes to how do you sustain those people and keep making sure they keep eating and they don't die with hunger, no, they are not there yet. They are not there yet. And since when this organization has been created? 1963. So when are they gonna have a sustainable program? I don't know. I feel like, when we're talking about sustainability, we need to be sure that we do it in practice. We do it in action. Not only that the research and all these things, no. And on ground, we need to making sure the things we say to people is exactly the things that is right out there. We need to be honest about ourselves. We need to be honest about what's happening. And we need to think more deeper on a lot of issues. I know some of the issues happens, and I'm not even going to talk about corruption because, World Food Program in Africa is one of the corrupted organizations ever. The number of food they want to give to people, that's not what they give to them. Containers of food that they were planned to respond to some emergency places. You found them in a warehouse, some other places. People are buying them in a community. The same people that are working for them are the same people that are taking advantage of people. So what? And then today, World Peace Program, contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals, contributing to ending poverty. Where? Tell me where in Africa right now World Food Program has worked and have created a system in which those communities can be able to provide their own food. Tell me which country, which city, I have friends and people and colleagues that work with organizations like what they know the truth. But the thing is, like, it's a circle, right? It is a circle. It's a system. It is a system that is there just to making sure this poor African stay poor. Let's making sure all this trash that we have overseas given to these people that they have nothing to do. Let's making sure that we keep just giving these junks to this uncivilized people, and then at the end of the day we are clapping, and our stupid leaders will be the first one to hold meetings with, because they benefit. It only benefits certain people. It does not benefit those in need. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I know, I mean, if you have a views different from this, I welcome different opinions, but this is my opinion. And for me, when I saw the news today, I couldn't really keep quiet. I couldn't just like, okay, this is it, thank you. No, this is not how these things work. People need to be accountable for their work. People need to be accountable for their work. If you say do something, you do it. You know, I remember last year, I think the beginning of this year, like in Uganda, for instance, because when I talk about those countries, those are places that have like millions of refugees. And those are the places that these organizations really strongly operate, right? And they were talking about lack of food for the next few months, and they need to raise at least 30 or 50 or $100 million to be able to respond to the emergency situation. You do not need to give people 1 kilo of messed up, of bad corns or whatever. You teach people how create programs. That's my problem. Create programs that will help people to sustain themselves. If you go and ask those people, they are not even satisfied with the support they get, because it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. Yes, my friend, that's what I'm talking about. You do not need to give people fish. Show him how to fish. Exactly. But that system is not there. And this is not only World Food Program. This is among a lot of organizations working in Africa, taking advantage of poor people, taking advantage of the system, making themselves rich and taking credit, and showing the Western media how good they are doing their work, and come back here and get the Nobel Prize like World Food Program today. No, man, that's creepy. And that's a BS right there. So when we're talking about sustainable development goals, we need to talk about tangible stuff. We need to talk about tangible stuff. We need to talk about tangible stuff. We cannot just talk about this and this and this and this. Okay, we need to making sure sustainable programs are put in place. Create those sustainable programs, not in paper, not in report, to make your donors excited. Not those stupid photos and videos they post on posters and on the TVs in the US and Europe to show that they have done work. Yes, of course, they cannot do that because it's a system. That's what I'm talking about. We are talking about a system that is just like keep moving on, keep moving. They need to have that cash circulating in many situations. And that's the problem we have. So, and for me, one issue can be them, but the other issues are also our leaders. When you have a continent or when you have a country that accepts all the BS of international organization, exactly that's what you get, When you have like a World Food Program today receiving a Peace Nobel Prize that they do not deserve, because people that are outside, they see pictures, they see videos, I know they're gonna create a good video to show the world all the work they have done, but there is no sustainability in their work. There is no long-term sustainability. Since 1963, they keep talking about hunger. And that hunger keep existing. And millions of dollars spent every freaking single day. But who does that help? It helps themselves. It does not really help the people. People do not even benefit from that. And if they benefit like a little something like this. And it's just something for today, it's not tomorrow. That's what I keep talking about. So, I wanted just to making sure that I can express myself in a way that, to let people exactly know what does this Nobel Prize means to me, myself, And I've been in a both side of spectrum, you know. I know exactly how these people operate in Africa. I lived with people, and I know and I work with people every day that receive their support, but I don't think that's enough. And I know people will say, oh, maybe you should know. They have money. They have ways to establish and to set up like sustainable projects or programs, but they do not do it. Why? Because it is a business. It is a business. And we as Africans abroad and here, we need to work together to create our own system that one day we do not need to rely on these organizations. And I was talking before, and talking about, you know, every country that relies on humanitarian organization, it's a failing country. It is a failing state. And when you look at the support these people, check up on their reports. I'm not your researcher. Check up on their reports on the millions of dollars they have spent in a country like Somalia, country like Sudan, country like Congo, country like Uganda, country like Central Africa, country like Nigeria, country like all those places. That's a lot of money. They can create programs that will sustain the population, create employment, and create really, really, really long-term sustainability. But do they do it? They do not do it. Are they willing to do it? I don't think so. So when we, and especially my invitation to a lot of people in America, a lot of my American friends in Canada and Europe, we need to see things differently. We need to see things in different lenses, you know, before we donate our money to these organizations, you know, before even we post them. We need to know exactly, does my money make an impact? Does my contribution do something? No, it does not. And that's why I always say, like, the best way to make impact when you want to donate or you want to make a change in a place like Africa, in a place like, you know, people in need, you need to check up on that local organizations, those people on the ground that are fighting night and day to survive. Those are the people that need to be helped, and your help needs to go directly to those people, not this businessman. Not this businessman. Because they've been doing the same thing for years and years and years, and nothing had happened. You know? And a lot of things can be done. You know, first of all, countries, you know, those state countries need to take things in their hand. Those state countries need to take things in their hand to making sure they can provide for their own people. Of course, people, citizens, diaspora can do something, but I always say, we cannot do things that the government is supposed to do. There is a role of a government, and there is a role of a government, and there is a role of people. And that needs to be clear. Until governments and all African governments understand that they need to take charge of their people, all this system will continue. They'll take advantage of us. They will poison us with their food. They will poison us with their vaccines. They will poison us with everything just because we do not have nothing. That's one. Two, we also need to create our own system. You know, we need to create our own movement on how we can help people financially, materially, you know, on how we can do that. But the problem is, like, Africans are not united, either inside or outside. It doesn't matter if you're African American or if you're in Africa, in Congo, Burundi, Nigeria. No, we have that bad virus in us. And until we realize that we're going to take things in our hand, you know, Africans going to keep struggling for years and generation to generations. But the good thing is, like, we have space today to talk. We have space today to help ourselves here and there. And slowly we are catching up on understanding. Slowly we are catching up on understanding how things are moving. Slowly things are going to be changing. And it's going to take some time, but it's a baby step. It's a baby step, you know. I think that's my question to you, my sister Alice. That's my question to you. That's what can be done. You know, that's what we need to do. We have a lot of things to do, but that's what needs to be done. So I just want to convey this message to you guys. And to a lot of people that are not aware, and I'm going to share this message. And if the best thing you can do, just share this message. If you feel differently or if you have a different opinion, please let me know. If you think what I'm saying is just like whatever, just let me know. But I'm just expressing what's happening on ground. I'm expressing what's happening. I'm expressing what I know from the people on the ground. That's exactly what's happening. So let's people celebrate their Nobel Prize. They're going to make more money. The money going to go to their staff. It's going to go to themselves. But our people that are suffering, honestly, they're going to continue suffering. You know, one of the things I was encouraging a lot of my people these days is to involve so much in agriculture project. Involve in agriculture stuff, you know. We have a lot of land. We have huge land that we haven't used, we haven't explored yet. And agriculture in Africa is still like empty, where we can grow our own food and we can be able to respond to the hunger eradication. Even people that are watching me in America, my brother and sister African Americans that are here, we have huge lands that people haven't even explored. Let's do commercial agriculture. Let's help our people. The only way we can stop these organizations to take advantage of us, it's us also to take action. But I cannot do it alone. And you cannot do it alone. But together, we can do it as a people. We can do it as a community. Those politicians that we cannot trust, that are selfish, that are used by the same people, won't do anything. But if we are united, we can make it happen. We can feed our people, we can make money, and the money can stay and circulate in our own hands. Not the end of oppressors and those that are always trying to see us being that way or staying the same way. Because my good friend Jack just said here, you know, there is no way they were gonna do it. There is no way they're gonna implement sustainable project because it's a cash movement. They are making like their own system. If they do it, then they will never exist. And if they don't exist, what are they gonna do? Then the business is over. So it is a business. So we need to take somehow control of ourselves. We need to take somehow control of the things, not just be over-seasoned people, just like eating hamburgers and pizzas and getting excited about life you're living today. But there is a lot of work. There is a lot of work we need to do to help our people, to take charge of our people and issues that are affecting us, issues that are affecting our community. Very important. And that's the message I have for us, people. You know, don't be fooled by the media on how much World Food Organizations has helped people. No, they haven't done nothing. If we need sustainable programs, even though we can make them accountable for those things, but also we can also be able to do something. It is very important so we can take things in our hand. It is very important so we can take things in our church. It is very important. My brothers and sisters that are struggling in many refugee camps today, that are receiving bad food from the World Food Program, it's just time. Let's keep praying God to keep giving us extra days. But things will change. Things will change. World Food Program does not deserve a World Peace Nobel Prize. That's exactly what I'm talking about today. They do not deserve it. They have failed to implement sustainable programs for the people they help. In an emergency situation, I'm going to give them credit for that. It's okay. It's fine. But if you give me, if I'm in a refugee camp for 10, 15, 20 years, or if I'm an immigrant in places that I need support every day, you cannot continue giving me bad food. You cannot continue giving me spoiled coins or rice or whatever you give me. You need to help me to be more sustainable and independent so that I can be able to put food on my table by myself and take my kid to school and have a life as any other person. But because it's a business, they do not do that. And I don't think they want to do that at all. So I've said a lot. I don't want to keep repeating myself. I don't want to keep saying the same things, but it's really, you know, disappointing for me to see how there are some good organizations out there that could receive that Nobel Prize. There are local people somewhere in the world that are doing amazing work that could receive that Nobel Prize. But again, it is a system, you know. It is a system that is created for the advantage of specific people. So it's like people need to get used to it, but it's not a good thing to get used to it. You know, the thing is, like, when things become super normal, it's not good, you know. And we need to have and given a space to be able to challenge, you know, some of those things, to challenge, you know, the way humanitarian work is done in Africa. And there's been a lot of studies, good studies, that have shown how much it is a failure. You know, one of my friends in Uganda has produced a documentary called NGO, meaning nothing going on. And that's exactly, you know, that's why I always tell a lot of my people, like, you know, if you want to do something good in Africa, if you want to create change, you do not need to create a non-profit, because a lot of us are keeping in a model of Western. We're keeping a model of whatever. I've been there and I'm disappointed. You know, I'm disappointed. We need to create business. We need to create social impact. We need to create opportunities and employment. That's where our thinking needs to go. It's not like because because of your previous experiences, oh, I want to start an orphanage. Oh, I want to start a non-profit. And I hear that a lot with my people. I've been there too. I started a non-profit when I was 17. I've been working in a non-profit world for more than 10 years. And I've learned a lot during the whole system. But now no more. Because it has no hope. We need to start thinking of programs and projects that are more sustainable, programs and projects that help our people to be sustainable and independent, are able to take care of themselves, their children's, and programs that are more sustainable that can go over years and years. As I started and I said, we do not need to be giving people fish. We need to teach people how to fish. The problem is there's a lot of self-interest. There is a lot of ego. There is a lot of personal benefits when we think about creating things like this. It's not because of the people. It's because of us, because of ourselves. And we need to overcome that spirit. You know, we need to overcome that. And if we do so, we can create a better society, a better community that is independent, sustainable, and can contribute to the social economics of others and the country in general. So that's my message for you today, guys. If you came late, you can go back and watch the full video. If you have any questions and comments, please give it there. I'm also open to any conversation. If you want to, give me a call. I'm happy to talk. I like to engage into a very meaningful and intentional conversations. I'm happy to do so. And if you want to revisit the video, you can do it. I'm also going to upload it on my my YouTube channel, which is My People Talk Show. And then you can listen to it. The least thing you can do also, like if you feel like this is a message that a lot of Africans, a lot of people around the world need to listen, just share. You know, it does not cost anything. It's no money. You're not making me rich. You're not doing anything good to me. But once we keep educating ourselves and circulating information that is real and good, that's one of the way to help ourselves to get out of that narrowed minds of thinking more differently, of thinking more widely, of thinking more beyond what we've been presented and what the world wants us to think all the time. So feel free to share. Give me a comment and I'll be happy to talk more about this subject. World Food Program does not deserve the humanitarian or the Peace Nobel Prize as long as they haven't successfully implemented sustainable programs from the people they're serving every single day. Thank you so much, my people. I love you so much. Bye.